Big U had Nipsey Hussle killed. Everybody knows
Big U gave wrong information. 30 minutes later, the homies blowing me up like they just killed Nip.
My nephew, TD, I was looking for artists. TD told me to go get Nip. I went and seek Nipped out of all the people I already been interviewing and talking to. And he was the shining light.
Nipsey Hussle supporters are celebrating online after the news about Big U's son. And now a wave of people are popping up claiming rumors that Big U had something to do with what happened to Nipsey. Even though none of this has ever been proven, these are just street whispers, but folks are saying them loud anyway. And according to what people on the internet are claiming, some of Nipsey's close friends supposedly had a heated run-in with Big U inside the facility where he's being held. None of this is confirmed, but the streets are buzzing like it's gospel. Let me break down the situation. The tragedy shaking LA right now has reopened wounds folks thought were gone. The streets of Los Angeles never forget, and they definitely don't forgive. On Halloween night of 2025, the hip-hop world saw something that sent shockwaves through every block of South Central, something that dragged old pain back into the light, forcing people to revisit one of the most emotional and complicated chapters in LA history. We're talking about the fatal shooting of Jabari Baby Way Henley, the 34-year-old son of Eugene Big U Henley Jr., a man whose name still rings loud in both the music world and the streets. But this story isn't just another heartbreaking loss in LA. People online are calling it karma, payback, and a heavy legacy coming full circle, even though nobody truly knows what led up to the tragedy. Because the reactions that came after Jabari's passing, the clips floating around, the arguments people claim happened, the way Nipsey Hussle affiliates responded, all of it pushed a deeper conversation about loyalty, history, and how heavy old conflicts can get when they're never resolved. The streets always say they collect their debts, and folks online are acting like this moment proved it. It was October 31st, 2025, around 11:11 p.m., when Jabari Henley reportedly ended up outside the Fig and 69 Smoke Shop near South Figueroa Street and West 69th Street in South Central. If you know anything about LA, you know this area has long-standing ties to the Rollin' 60s neighborhood Crips, the same crew Big U was rumored to have influence in for decades. This wasn't some random stop. This was deep in an area still carrying his name. People say this was the type of spot where his presence used to mean protection, the kind of place where his family should have been safe. But on this night, all of that street history didn't matter. Witnesses and early reports claim Jabari walked up to a dark-colored sedan, maybe a Toyota Camry or Honda Accord, when suddenly someone inside allegedly opened fire without warning. Shots rang out fast, multiple rounds back to back. Investigators think it might have been a 9mm or a .40 caliber handgun. The bullets hit Jabari in the chest, stomach, arm, thigh. It was quick, brutal, and left him with no chance to fight back. The whole scene went down in seconds, but the impact, that shook the whole city. Jabari collapsed right there on the concrete, his body giving out as people started screaming and running in every direction. It was chaos in seconds. Even with LAPD officers and paramedics rushing in, hitting CPR, pushing epinephrine, doing everything they could to keep him breathing, it wasn't enough. Jabari Henley was pronounced gone at the scene. The official cause was hemorrhagic shock and a torn pulmonary artery, the type of injuries nobody walks away from. No miracle, no comeback, nothing. The shooter took off instantly, vanishing into the night and leaving behind shell casings, blurred surveillance angles, and a scene that would turn into one of the most talked about tragedies in modern LA hip-hop history. LAPD's 77th Street Division jumped on the case right away, treating it like a full-on homicide and trying to piece together the real story. Detectives grabbed the casings, locked down at least a dozen surveillance clips from nearby shops and homes, and started questioning everyone who saw anything. All the forensic evidence got sent to the lab, with the full ballistic reports expected in early November 2025. What really turned heads was when police held two people from Inglewood as persons of interest, folks with no direct ties to the Rollin' 60s, but later released them without charges. Then investigators found partial DNA on the car handle that linked back to someone associated with the Hoover Gang, a group that's been in conflict with the 60s for decades. That detail had people online talking nonstop because it hinted this wasn't random at all. It might have been tied to old street tensions that have been brewing in South LA forever. A $50,000 reward went up for any info that leads to an arrest. But so far, nothing. No suspects in cuffs, no confirmed motive, just an open case with detectives chasing every angle they can. And here's where the story hits even harder. Jabari wasn't out here running the streets like people might assume because of who his father is. Born March 15th, 1991 in Inglewood, he kept his distance from gang life. Yeah, he dipped into music, dropping tracks like Hood with Hoodrich Pablo Juan, and pulling about 150,000 streams on Spotify. But his songs leaned towards survival and family, not glorifying violence. People close to him said he was focused on real life, working as a warehouse supervisor in Compton, raising his 10-year-old daughter, and trying to build something solid without carrying the weight of his father's past. His circle described him as mature, grounded, and smart enough to understand the streets without letting them define him. But being Big U's son meant that no matter how far Jabari tried to step away from that lifestyle, the streets kept pulling his name back in. And on Halloween night, 2025, the past caught up to him in the worst way possible. Big U got the news around 1:30 a.m. on November 1st, about 2.5 hours after everything went down. And that's where the whole story twists even deeper. Big U wasn't outside when he heard what happened. He wasn't free at all. Eugene Big U Henley Jr. was sitting inside the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles.
And we just had some super sad news coming out of Los Angeles. It was just reported yesterday that Big U's son, baby Yui, unfortunately lost his life in the streets of Los Angeles on the night of Halloween.
Locked up with no bail since March 2025 on a long list of federal RICO charges. Charges including extortion, human trafficking, bank fraud, robbery, tax evasion, and even allegations connected to a plot involving violence toward an aspiring rapper in Las Vegas back in 2021. He heard about his son's death through a contraband phone call from Loose Cannon, one of his co-defendants, who's also behind bars. According to people close to the situation, Loose Cannon said Big U didn't take the news like the tough street legend people always talk about. They said he broke down, wiping tears and whispering, "Not my boy, not like this." It was one of those moments that reminded everyone he's still a father before anything else. For Big U, the timing couldn't have hit harder. His money was frozen because of the federal case, the legal pressure was getting heavier by the day, and now his firstborn, the one who actually tried to live a clean, steady life away from the street reputation surrounding his name, was gone. There was a memorial planned for November 8th, 2025, but nobody knew if Big U would even be allowed to attend from federal custody, making the situation even more heartbreaking. But what came next pushed everything into an even darker place. Instead of the city coming together with condolences or prayers, a lot of Nipsey Hussle supporters and even some of his affiliates jumped online celebrating the news. They posted jokes, memes, and street slang comments saying this was Nipsey's justice, calling it signs from the universe, even though none of these claims have ever been proven. Within just 90 minutes of the police scanner chatter hitting the internet, social media exploded. By sunrise, hashtags like Nipsey Karma and Cost Big Henley were trending everywhere. Thousands of users chimed in, with many either straight up accusing Big U of being connected to Nipsey's death, or saying Jabari's passing was some type of cosmic payback. It turned into one of the wildest online reactions LA had seen in years, fueling conversations that were already emotional, messy, and full of long-time street rumors that nobody has ever confirmed. People online weren't just reacting to Jabari's death, they were treating it like some kind of message aimed at his father, even though none of these claims have ever been proven. Some folks kept their comments mild, just pointing out the irony of Big U losing his son in a way that reminded them of how Nipsey passed. But others, they went straight for the darkest jokes, posting laughing emojis, throwing around the word karma, and even cheering like this was some victory for Nipsey supporters. It was wild to see online. This wasn't just random trolls trying to stir up mess. A real chunk of the hip-hop world jumped into the conversation because they've believed for years, based only on street talk and rumors, that Big U had something to do with the drama surrounding Nipsey. None of this has ever been confirmed, and the only person convicted in Nipsey's death was Eric Holder Jr. But the internet doesn't exactly wait for facts before forming an opinion. And to understand why this moment hit so differently, why the timeline didn't mourn but instead mocked, you gotta look at the history. Because this wasn't just another tragedy in South Central. For a lot of people online, this felt like old ghosts walking back into the story. The Nipsey connection is what turned this into a firestorm. To get what's happening now, we have to rewind and look at one of the most complicated, emotional, rumor-filled relationships in modern hip-hop. The connection between Big U and Nipsey Hussle. Their story goes back to around 2006 to 2007, when Nipsey was still grinding as a rising artist trying to break into a tough Los Angeles rap scene. Big U was already known in the Rollin' 60s community and was trying to shift from street influence into business moves. He saw something in Nipsey, saw talent, drive, and a future, and stepped in early with support. He gave Nipsey studio access, a place to stay, advice about real estate, and guidance on how to move through LA without getting caught up in dangerous street politics. In a city where crossing the wrong block can be life-changing. Having someone with Big U's reputation vouch for you opened doors and kept things safer. In 2009, Nipsey signed a 10-year management deal with Big U's company, Unique Music. Big U himself said the deal involved around 10 to 25% of publishing going through his company on paper. It was supposed to help both of them win. Big U would bring structure, connections, and protection, while Nipsey would grow into his potential with full support behind him. For years, Big U described Nipsey like a little brother, even calling him a son in spirit. And during that time, he really did help Nipsey move through neighborhoods that weren't easy to navigate. That freedom is what allowed Nipsey to perform, film videos, and build his name all across the city. But once Nipsey's career started blowing up, the Marathon brand rising, the store growing, partnerships forming, and his business mind sharpening, the energy around the relationship started shifting. By 2018, when the 10-year contract was close to ending, Nipsey was ready to take full control of everything he built. He had his own team, his own network, and he didn't need anybody taking a big cut anymore. He was stepping out of the shadow of old deals and fully into the empire he created. And that moment, the moment he started pushing for independence, is where the rumors began years ago. The same rumors now fueling the reactions to Jabari's death, even though no hard evidence has ever backed them up.
Also, something else that didn't make sense to me, the hit didn't make sense to me, because who takes this girl on a hit? And who goes, if you're going to go do a hit, if it is a hit, if you're going to go do a hit, who goes to confront the guy? He already know, I'm finna do this dude. Who goes to confront the guy, leave, and then come back?
The mentor-protege bond that once felt natural started turning into a weight on Nipsey's shoulders, something that held him back instead of helping him grow. And this is where everything gets blurry, where rumors start flying, and nobody can tell what's fully real and what's just street talk. Because according to what people online claim and what shows up in federal paperwork from Big U's 2025 RICO case, investigators believe Big U wasn't just managing artists. They say he was allegedly tied to an extortion setup that targeted businesses, entertainers, and even people he worked with. But again, these details are tied to court accusations, not proven facts. Some folks online, especially controversial commentator Charleston White, have repeatedly claimed that Big U supposedly tried to pressure Nipsey for money in exchange for protection while Nipsey was blowing up. Charleston White isn't known as the most reliable source. He's famous for dropping wild statements to spark reactions. But the fact that others in LA's rap scene echoed similar claims made people wonder if there was some truth buried underneath all the loud talking. The story these people push goes like this. As Nipsey became more successful, more respected, and more powerful in the community, certain older figures, including Big U, allegedly started feeling threatened. In street politics, there's an unwritten rule. Nobody is allowed to rise above the set. You can win, but you're never supposed to overshadow the organization or shift the power dynamic. And according to these theories, Nipsey's growth threw the whole balance off because fans loved him, the city respected him, and his influence started breaking past boundaries nobody expected. By late 2018, when the 10-year contract was ending, their entire relationship cracked. That's when things reached a boiling point, a moment that people still talk about today because of how explosive it was. It happened in a Crenshaw parking lot after Nipsey reportedly recorded a diss track aimed at Big U, where he allegedly called him a scrapper, not a rapper, and questioned his whole image in the music world. And this wasn't some casual bar in a song. With their tension over money, business control, and the shifting power dynamic, the track hit like a direct shot at Big U's name. According to different accounts floating around the LA streets, Big U pulled up on Nipsey and his brother, Samuel Black, Sam Asghedom, to confront them about the track and other issues. Things got physical fast, with people saying Big U put hands on both brothers. It got so heated that Black Sam reportedly fired a gun in self-defense, which led to him getting arrested when LAPD rolled up. No one was hit, but the damage was already done. Their whole bond was shattered that night. This wasn't just about music or contracts anymore. People close to the situation say it became a matter of respect, power, and pride. As an OG, Big U expected loyalty, and Nipsey walking away from the deal, plus dropping that diss, was taken as a major insult. Even though reports say they later squashed the beef, the piece never erased the rumors. Big U publicly praised Nipsey after his passing, saying nothing but positive things. But in 2023, federal wiretaps surfaced where Big U allegedly bragged about being bigger than Nipsey and said he would deal with anyone who challenged him. Comments that made people revisit everything. And then came the day that changed everything. The moment the mentor turned into a target of online suspicion, the student became a legend, and Los Angeles lost one of its brightest voices. March 31st, 2019, Nipsey Hussle was shot multiple times in front of the Marathon clothing store and later pronounced dead at the hospital. The man arrested was Eric Holder Jr., someone connected to the same neighborhood, who was convicted in 2022 and sentenced to 60 years to life. The official story is that Holder confronted Nipsey about rumors that he had cooperated with law enforcement. After that exchange, Holder allegedly returned with a weapon and fired. That's the narrative the court accepted, and that's what led to his conviction. But the streets, they didn't buy the simple version. Almost instantly, conspiracy theories popped up everywhere. People claiming the story was bigger, deeper, and way more complicated than a disagreement over rumors. And those theories, they never went away. They just evolved, resurfacing every time new drama hit the city, including what happened to Jabari in 2025. One of the loudest claims online came from Loose Cannon, someone close to Big U who later ended up indicted with him in that federal RICO case. In a viral interview, Loose Cannon dropped a wild allegation saying Big U supposedly called him about 30 minutes before Nipsey was killed and told him Nipsey had already been taken out, even though Nipsey was still alive at that time. If Loose Cannon's story were true, and that's a huge if, since he's also facing heavy federal charges and might have his own reasons for talking, it would suggest Big U somehow knew something was coming. That idea shook the internet because the implication behind it is serious. But again, nothing in this claim has ever been proven or backed by law enforcement. People online ran with the theory anyway, especially because of the old tension between Nipsey and Big U and the accusations connected to Big U's alleged criminal activities. That's when Charleston White jumped in, taking the rumor even further by directly accusing Big U of ordering the hit, even though he had no evidence and is known for saying controversial things for attention. He painted the situation like some jealousy-fueled move, claiming the old guard didn't like how big Nipsey became. Then former death row artist Helsia SKG Choice also jumped into the conversation, saying she believed Big U might have been involved and pointing to behavior she claimed she witnessed in the past. But again, these are just allegations people have said online, not confirmed facts. Everyone involved has their own perspectives, motivations, and histories. So none of these claims can be taken as proven truth. Big U has denied every single accusation about being tied to Nipsey's death. He addressed the rumors in multiple interviews and even sent cease and desist letters to platforms like No Jumper, asking them to stop repeating claims that link him to the tragedy. In one long interview, Big U broke down why he believes the entire rumor doesn't make sense. And honestly, part of his reasoning is pretty straightforward when you look at it. He said Eric Holder's actions that day didn't match anything close to a planned, organized hit. Holder showed up with his girlfriend, talked with Nipsey in front of everyone, walked away, went to Master Burger to order food, then came back. None of that fits the pattern of a professional setup. Contract hits usually don't involve small talk and lunch orders. They happen fast and clean. On top of that, the FBI did a deep investigation into Nipsey's murder while looking into gang activity across Los Angeles, and nothing publicly released has connected Big U to the attack. So while the theories kept spreading online and people kept debating them, the official case stayed the same. The courts convicted Eric Holder Jr., and none of the extra claims floating around social media have ever been confirmed or backed by investigators. If federal investigators had anything solid tying Big U to Nipsey's death, they would have added it straight into that massive 43-count RICO indictment they hit him with in 2025. That case already includes accusations involving violent crimes, the 2021 killing of aspiring rapper Rayshawn Williams, extortion, fraud, human trafficking, and a bunch of other heavy charges. If there were any real evidence linking him to Nipsey's murder, the feds wouldn't have held back. They would have added it instantly. The fact that they didn't shows that, despite all the street talk and online theories, nothing concrete connects Big U to that tragedy. But whether the rumors are true or not, the conspiracy theories alone have done huge damage to Big U's name, career, and reputation. Folks say he lost sponsorship deals, stopped getting contracts, and even that, a $3 million Adidas deal, supposedly connected to Kanye West, fell apart because of the allegations. People who once stood next to him started backing away, worried about being associated with accusations that had no proof behind them. After Nipsey passed, Big U actually stepped forward publicly, organizing unity marches, giving a eulogy, and helping raise money for Nipsey's family. But once the theories went viral, they drowned out everything else. In hip-hop and in street culture, sometimes perception hits harder than reality, and the public had already made up its mind before any court ever did. And that brings everything full circle back to Halloween night, 2025, the night Big U's son Jabari was killed in a way eerily similar to how Nipsey lost his life 6 years earlier. The parallels were impossible for the internet to ignore. Both men shot multiple times in South LA, both connected to the Rollin 60s through family ties, and both deaths instantly sparking talk about deeper meanings and hidden motives. If you rocked with this breakdown, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe for more street-level deep dives. Click the videos on your screen, and I'll catch you in the next one.